Hey, it's early in the morning, I know, but your so what seamstress doesn't seem to know when to go to sleep. I was doing some major rearranging around the house. I'm shifting gears in my workspace. Excuse me. So I'm moving stuff around and I'm moving tables around, things like that. And then I come across this little gem that someone just gave to me. Was It was a trade. She had a commercial sewing machine, and it wasn't stitching right. And I really hadn't ever worked on one, but I'd worked on others. So I said, well, it can't be much different. It was a little different, not a lot, but a lot heavier, a lot bigger too. Oh my goodness. So I worked on her machine and I got it stitching good. And she said, and she had told me on the phone, as a matter of fact, about this trade. And she said, I have an old sewing machine in my garage. Would you take that as trade working on my sewing machine? And I love sewing machines. You have no idea, people. When I say I love sewing machines, they're like my kids. That's why my husband thinks I'm crazy because I have so many. Well, I saw the sewing machine. It was in a box. The case wasn't with it anymore. It didn't have the model plate on the front. And I looked at an old Singer and I go, yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, because I want to restore it. And I know what's going to happen because of what happened today. And I cried. I literally cried. When I get someone's sewing machine, when I'm looking for them, they're usually basically almost giving it away, really. And I look at it, I see a sewing machine and I see potential, and I go, that's all you want for it? So why are you selling it? That doesn't run, it doesn't turn on, it doesn't do anything. I said, okay, I'll take it. And I bring it home. My husband has a fit. He's like, not another one. He's like, no more, no more. Well, he didn't know about this one. This is the beauty right here, guys. This is a Singer Class 15. If you don't know what that is, look up. It is the one that they made all the clones out of. You've seen a lot of different like labels and plates on sewing machines. They all look like this one. They all kind of look. This thing is heavy. They all look like this thing, except for maybe the graphics, the decals. And I haven't been able to get the needle to go up and down yet because there was some rust in here. I mean, this poor little baby, she was sitting in that garage, God only knows how long, and the only thing left of the box she sat in is this piece of wood. That's it. And the model number's gone. The plate that goes on the front, it's gone. And I go, okay, come on, baby. Singer, you need to talk to me. And I scoured this thing with a flashlight and I found its serial number on the back on a plate. And I broke out in tears, literally broke out in tears. This beautiful machine that is going to come back to life. And I know it is because I plugged it in. I don't have a light bulb for it, and I don't have the shield that goes over the light bulb that normally is on the back. I heard the motor humming, and I about lost it. And when I heard that, I said, one day you guys are going to see her sewing. Yeah, you are. That's my goal is to get her sewing so you can see just what a 1926 Singer sewing machine can really do. Because she's gorgeous. Granted, it's just a straight stitch machine, but I can't wait. And I can't wait to show her off. It may be a while, but eventually this little girl right here, this little Singer girl, she's going to be singing. So that's my prelude. I'm sorry, I kind of digressed, but I got so excited when I realized this is a 1926. This thing was built before I was born, way before I was born, like 31 years. Yeah, 31 years. So this is the Singer that brought me to tears today, and I had to share her with you, and I hope you don't mind. So I'm gonna put her down. She's heavy, so bear with me. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, so as I'm moving furniture around and I'm moving tables and this and that, and Thanksgiving's coming, Christmas coming, and that's when you deck out your tables with hot foods and things like that. Well, we want to protect our tables. We also want to protect our sewing tables. Okay. Now you can see this is a piece of felt. Now you can use felt. You can use batting, cotton batting. Cotton batting's really good. Um, you can use foam rubber if you want. But if I was going to use foam rubber, knowing I'm going to put anything hot on top of that, I'd put a piece of felt on top of that. So in order to make this cover on here, I've actually got it halfway done, and I'm going to finish it and show you all how to finish it. You take the felt, and I'll show you the one I have for the next. I have two desks next to each other, so I'm making one for each one. And you take the felt, and what I did is I use my trusty little fabric marker. It washes out. So if you want to wash this, it's going to wash that out. You're not going to see it anyway because it's going to be covered up, unless you're not going to cover it up. I'm covering these up. I've got leftover material, new drapes in here, and the coverings are going to match the drapes. This is going to be such a cool room. So you take the felt and you lay it literally on top, and at the edges. Oops, I got this wrong. I think this is for the other one. Yeah, this is for the other one, but this is the one that, this is for this one here that I first showed you. That goes to this desk. But you lay it on top. Oh, what the heck? I'll put the one that belongs there so you can see. So you lay it on top, okay? And then you take your fabric marker, and you want to have about the same distance of felt on all edges. I did about 1.5 inches all the way around. Now the way I came up with that number is I measured how thick this tabletop piece was, one that opens and shuts. So I measured that and I doubled it, plus a little bit more. The reason for that is you want this felt to wrap around it with a little bit of elastic. Now don't get scared of the elastic. I got a trick with the elastic, guys. Yeah, don't need an elastic foot. You really don't. You just gotta take your time and watch what you're doing. So you put the felt on and you outline it because it's already got a straight edge. So you draw that straight edge on there. And if your felt has got kind of a crooked edge, that's fine. And you take your handy dandy little clear 18-inch acrylic measuring stick here or a ruler, and then you go and you make a nice even edge all the way around. Then this is the fun part. What you're gonna do, I'm gonna lay this open. I have a big roll. I got this when the whole mask thing was going on, the craze about making masks. Whoop-de-doo. I'd rather make clothes. I'd rather do this. Or make curtains. The trick to making this cover is, at first I didn't put any elastic in the middle. And this one I actually did. I think on the other side, I'm going to go all the way along the whole edge just to see what difference it makes. This is kind of like an experiment. I've got 3 tables to cover. 2 desks, 1 table. Actually, no, there's another table on the other side of the room. So it's 1/4 inch, just regular, braided elastic. You can buy them in packages in the store. I think there's like 3 yards in a package. You won't need that much. When you finish cutting this out, of course, now you gotta have a big rectangle or square or whatever. And on each corner, you can see where I have my square drawn, the pink mark there. You're gonna lop it off at that angle. So basically all this, it becomes like a 45-degree angle. Okay, here we go with the geometry. So this is the wrong side. This is the side that's going to be facing down. So you're not going to see the pink anyway, right? What you're going to do is you're going to, and make sure I do this right. Yeah, that's right. You're going to fold the right sides together at the corner. Okay, here's the corner, and you just fold it along the corner. Then what are you going to do? You're going to do like this. On your sewing machine, here's the straight line, okay, down to the point. From where that point is, you're going to stitch straight down. And that's it. You do that on all 4 corners. That's the first thing. And I'm going to do that little number right here. This is my 1966 Kenmore. I absolutely adore it. I'm going to need that ruler in just a second. I just dropped it on the floor. Now I have 1 cam in here already. you want to use a zigzag stitch. You don't need to use a zigzag stitch for this part. I think it helps as far as for fitting it. And especially when you're using felt, like I said, you can use batting, felt. If you use the foam, of course, the foam, you're going to want to cover it with something. Or if you just want to use a thick piece of material, upholstery material is great for doing, and then it's decorative. So you can do that as well. So I'm going to do a couple stitches, back stitch it, go straight down. And take that out. I need the ruler, so I need to show you this next step. To make your corners lay nice and crisp and pointy, there's another step you have to do. Oh, I lost my ruler. Get off the desk, sorry. Okay, where you have stitched, okay, this part here, this fold, you're going to snip it. You're going to snip it as far up as you can without cutting the corner. Just like, oh, come on. Just like that. Okay, now to make sure that lays flat, you're going to take that same corner and just below where you stopped, you're going to cut up to the stitching. Kind of like when you're doing around a curve on clothing and you're clipping to the stay stitching, so it gives, the fabric gives, same thing. So now this can butterfly open. See, now it's butterfly open. Okay. Now this is where you add the elastic. Everybody's like, don't you have to use an elastic foot? No. This is the trick. I left all this elastic on this thing and I use it right from there. So what I'm going to do before I even do the elastic part, I'm going to even this edge up because you see how this is a little bit longer. It's just, sometimes that's how it works out. So you just kind of even it up. You want an even edge. Now, once I sew on the elastic, I can turn it under again to give it like a finished off edge if I want to, which I did on this one. The first one I didn't, but you don't need to. Sometimes it just looks nicer. And I'm using threads that you can see. Because nobody's going to see it here but me because I'm covering all of this up. Now, where that stitching is, where you just stitched that corner, it's going to make a nice, crisp, pointy corner. You want to measure from that stitching on both sides. However far you want to do your elastic, you can do 1 inch, but then you're not going to have a lot of snugness. So I suggest at least 2 inches or 3 inches on either side. It's just whatever your preference is. That's where this comes in handy. Now here's a little trick I'm going to teach you. When you measure this 3 inches on here, you take the same washable marking pen, and you're going to mark that 3 inch spot on there. Do it on both sides. Okay. 3 inches. So for those of you who always wanted to make like a holiday tablecloth that doesn't slip off the table, this is how you do it. You can add a skirt up under it if you want, to make it drape down, or just attach it to it. After you've done this part, you can attach a skirt to it. I wanted to show you how to make one of those because it's really cool. And so now I've got a mark, excuse me, on both sides, 3 inches. 3 inches on either side. This is the fun part, the elastic. When you put the elastic at the first dot on here, now you can pin it, but it doesn't make any difference because you're going to put it 1/4 inch past that little dot, that first dot. Okay, and you're going to put some locking stitches to lock that elastic in place. Everybody's like, "Oh, how do you know how much elastic to use?" Just wait a minute. I'll tell you the science behind it. It turns out I'm going to stitch this in place so it stays put. So I don't have to use any pins. I don't like to use them if I don't have to. And stitch up to that dot, forward or back. Okay, now needle in. make sure your needle's in for this next step. You don't cut this off yet. This is the key. Where that second dot is, you're going to, because your needle's out and you've got the elastic in there good. It's not going anywhere, right? You're going to pull this elastic as tight as you can to that knot. Then you're going to take that same marker and you're going to mark a pink spot on your elastic. The reason for that is because that's what you would do as you sew anyway. You'd be stretching it to that point if you had it, like if you cut it, but then you have to worry about sewing through your fingers. This way you don't have to worry about it because you've got all this extra back here. And if you mess up, you undo the stitches, you stretch it out again to get your two pink spots together or whatever color you use. So when you let go of the elastic, if you were to measure from where that needle is in the elastic right now to where I put the pink spot on it to match up on the felt, it's exactly halfway the distance. So if I stretch it 6 inches, it's going to be 3 inches of elastic. Didn't know that, did you? Yeah, that's a neat little thing. So that's one of those cute little kind of anecdotes I throw in. So I know that I can hold my elastic way back here and not have to worry about sewing through my fingers as long as I keep it along the edge and that it meets that pink spot that I drew on the other side 3 inches away. So leave the butterfly open, put your elastic down, and this is where you kind of have to help the machine a little bit as you guide it through. You know, it's because you're stretching and it's trying to pull it away from you, so that's what you want to do. So I usually go about like halfway and then I readjust. So and this one does a really kind of zigzag design. It's like kind of cool. Like small stitches and the big stitches and little stitches and like 3 different kinds of zigzag stitches as it goes. I'm just going to guide it through. Did I get it? Yes, I did. Okay, now I got to back it up. I almost ran off of there, but that's because I was getting towards the end. I didn't want to mess it up. Okay, so this really gathered it good, which is awesome. Now I'm going to do the other side the same way. And then, now, technically, if I wanted to, I could have kept that elastic going in one continuous piece all the way up to the next corner. But I didn't do that in this case. And I don't know why, but just because I wanted to show you how to do it corner by corner first. Then when you add the side piece in, it's basically the same thing. I'll show you how that works. I'm going to do the other corner real quick, like this. And you can trim away excess as you feel needed, but not on the edge, because that edge is the one that goes under the lip of your table. And that's what you're trying to cover up. Like this, there. Yes, I was like, I need to make my corners crisp and clean and pointy. And I was like, wait a minute. It's just like with a dart. When you press open a dart in a piece of clothing, same thing. It's just not a dart, it's just a corner. So, go up in there. And I cut it a little bit further. And then into the stitching. Just like that. And then the other one I just did, or I did. Oh, I did that one before because I just said it. Okay. What's in my mind? I'm going to do the elastic on this one. I'll show you how to do the side elastic. This one did not. It's not the same one, guys. Even it up, make it a little neater. Elastic. What? 3 inches on either side. The one side I did 2 inches, and I was like, well, it probably could use 3 because it gives more tension. And that's a good thing. And you're trying to make sure something doesn't slide off or slip off. That's 3 there. And 3 on the other side. Like that. Then I'll need this for the elastic. And I'm going to secure it first, right along the edge. Don't go up too far because you want to be able to have a finished look, you want to be able to turn it up. And you're only turning it up one width of the elastic anyway, so it's only 1/4 inch. You're only losing a 1/2 inch. All right, get in there, buddy. Just like that. Now I'm not holding the elastic until I'm ready to stretch it. Needle's in. Now I'm stretching it to the other corner. And I gotta butterfly this open. And you want to measure it all the way to there and put that dot on the elastic. So now I don't need this anymore. And some people will put a dot in the center of the elastic. And you can do that. When you stretch it out this way, you can take your marker and where the stitching is, the middle of the two, and just put a marking there. So that way you can kind of judge and gauge your stretchability, so to speak. And I think that's how the way they taught us in school, like halfway up, to make sure that it's evenly stretched. It's on both sides. I should have said that, but I did it this time. So that way you're not having to hold it for a long distance at one time. You're doing half and then half. So I'm doing it half and half for you. I'll say that. Okay. And it's easier to manage as well. Okay, I'm going to stretch it to the rest of the way. Come on, little buddy. This one's kind of shimmied on me, but sorry. Got some stretcheries here. But so I'm going to straighten it up. We're good. There we go. Pink spot. All right. So now before I turn under the side for a finished look, you just snip the elastic right there. Sometimes when you put the, how when you put your bed sheets on, the fitted sheet, and on the sides is still kind of floppy. Even though there's elastic there, there's not enough elastic there. To keep this from doing that, I'm going to do the same premise, but the right way. Okay, now you've got your piece. You've got 4 gathered corners, right? 2 of them I've got turned under. On one side I only put halfway with the elastic. This one I'm going to do the whole side. And snip your threads as you go. Save yourself some headaches and embarrassment when you're like, oh, I missed that. Like that. Okay. I'm only doing it on the long edge. The reason why you're doing it you could do it on the outside edge, but because this thing closes up, and when you're on the inside edge, there is a way to make it fit the inside edge, and I can show you that if you really want to do it that way. It's not really necessary, especially if you're going to put a tablecloth cover or something over top. So this is your finished 4 quarters. Okay, you're going to do the same thing as far as in the middle. You're going to take the corners at the points, right? You're going to fold it and hold the points together. So that's your halfway mark. And where that halfway mark is on the inside, that's where you can put your pink dot for the center. So I'm going to put this. My pink center is going to be here. And it's all along the edge, no further up. I just put it on the edge. Okay, because there's the square of the top shape. So that's that. Now, since that's the center, and we're doing the whole side now, I've done the corners. I just like to get the corners out of the way. It's harder to do a long side. Now, if you were going to do it all the way around, you would want to mark this elastic every half and every half of a half. So basically what I'm saying is if I had started here in the corner, went around, and this was still continuing, okay, what I would want to do is have this secured. You'd have to secure it with a pin to do that, all the way down to the other corner, and then mark your halfway mark on your elastic to match this halfway mark, and also quarter way in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to fold it again at the halfway mark to the corner to get my quarter of the side distance. I know that sounds weird, doesn't it? But it's quarter way down, and then halfway, and then another quarter way down. So that way, then we do the same thing on the other side. It's so that your stretch is evenly distributed. That's what you're doing. You're making sure that when you stretch that elastic, it's the same strength all the way around. And that's with anything when you're using elastic. Except swimsuits. That's different. They're interesting. I've made several. And they were taken into a Vegas show for a designer. She was up and coming, and he had me do the work for her. So now, this is why I don't like to do a whole big long row. And if you want to do it that way, you can go ahead and do it that way. I did the corners first, and now I'm going to do the side to match the corners. So again, I did not cut this. I am not cutting it. I'm going to save my fingers. Okay. So with that over that way, I'm going to secure this, overlap it 1/4 inch with the elastic that is in the corner. And I can get it under the presser foot. A stretch foot is wonderful, by the way. A stretch presser foot. All right, they're great. Okay, let's get this secured in place. Oh, what did I forget to do? Forgot to mark the elastic, didn't I? So, to do that, I got to pull it as tight as I can, right? And I'm going to mark it where every pink dot is on here. On the front. So there's one there. I want to make sure they on it as I stitch it. Here. And where it gets tricky because it's not on the table anymore. And here. And one more is going to be where it's going to overlap at the end. So, like that. And that's going to be right here. Ta-da. So that's literally half of the distance. I don't know why it works that way. It always does. But, you could measure that and know it's in half and put, on your elastic at the end, say it's 16 inches and you mark it at 8. But keep it attached so you don't. Have you ever had it snap out of your hands while you're sewing? I hate that. It drives me crazy. Like, you start yelling at the elastic. It's not the elastic's fault. I didn't let go. You did. Okay. This is the fun part. That's why it's good to do it in quarters as far as helping it along, stitching it. There we go. I didn't secure it. I had the needle in it. I didn't secure it. That's my mistake. Get it out there. Do this. Yeah. Oh, I got the marks on it, so that's okay. So get your little elastic butt in there. And do my 4 locking stitches. And okay, there we go. Good to go now. It's in there for good. I stopped at the quarter mark just so I can readjust myself and get in there. A little bit more. There we go. A little bit more. That. And I'm using tiny zigzag stitches just because it's thin elastic. So that's just my preference. I think that's a pretty wise idea to do. And you're not forcing it. You're helping by just keeping it stretched and holding it and helping it go through. It's just one of those weird things that you need to do for something like this. Like that. And back it up. Lock it in place. And there we go. All right. Snip that elastic off. Snip the strings. Threads. From strings. Sometimes I call them spider webs. They seem to follow me around. Can't stand it. Now, now, if you can do this, you can make your own fitted bed sheets. Isn't that amazing? That's wonderful. Because I don't know about you, but sheets are not cheap anymore. No, we're way past the $5 days. Okay, now, for a finished edge look, you just turn it under and you stitch as close as you can to the very edge and stretch it as you're stitching. I guess I can show you that. This does look nicer when you do it that way instead of the raw edge, but I've seen some bed sheets that are left raw edge like that, and I think it's tacky. I mean, for bed sheets. I gotta just remember. Okay, this is the long side. I probably should have done this all the way around. Now that I'm thinking about it, I may do it later. Just because I'm thinking, how am I gonna look? Except for one edge you can't because it's the edge where it opens and shuts. It won't let you do that. So you just fold it basically over from the edge from the beginning, and it's like really super close to the edge. And I'm going to take a little bit more time with this one because you're actually letting the machine, pull it from you. You're not giving it too much resistance, but you're giving just enough to stretch it. That's the stretch that you did when you first put the elastic in. So let's go like this. Dun, dun. Yeah, I was doing that. I can make my own sheets. Oh, and I did do my ironing board cover. Almost the same way. Basically, yeah. Except I did put a drawstring in it. And because the top was terrible, the ironing board, that was a pit, so it was just tabletop ironing board. But it was terrible. It looked awful. Like that. And I like to do about 4 or 5 inches at a time. Gives you more control. It looks better. More, then a lot of people are like, why are you using a little sewing machine? Because they work. My vintage pals never let me down. So the new ones, they were always breaking. I was like, no more new ones for me. That's why I got all excited when I heard that motor hum and I go, oh, she's alive. And then no, it's not a Frankenstein thing. I was just excited. I didn't expect it to make any sound whatsoever because it didn't abuse, You see a machine that's in that kind of shape. I mean, it's not in bad shape. It's going to need new decal work and stuff, but hey. If I can make that beautiful thing hum and run, I look brand new. And as long as the good Lord gives me the money to do it, I'm going to do it. She deserves a second chance one. ends on back of about 3 to 5 stitches on it. Okay. Let's see how this little bugger works or looks. Now there is another way you can do this if you don't particularly want to do the elastic in this manner. You can cut the top part as I did, do the corner, and then take either, you can use ribbon or you can use an elastic and make a loop, make it a short loop so that it still holds it snug in place. So this is the end product. As you can see, it makes a nice finished edge. See? It's not that raw edge that was hanging out. It's stitched in the back, same way. And the test is it going to fit? It should fit. I measured it. It should fit. Oh wait, that's the underside. I'm covering up the top, the underside. So it goes this way. And this is side. The trick is to remember, do you know how many times I put the bottom's fitted sheet on my bed wrong? Yeah, you have to remember which side's the side and which side's the bottom. So if you want, when you're doing this, just mark it. Put like a side or L for, I'm sorry, B for bottom and T for top. Something like that. So this is the totally fitted side. The elastic all the way around. And this is the side that I only did halfway. I did elastic in the middle, and that's all I did. And do it on the other part of it. And like this. And put that little corner in there. You know what? I think I'm going to finish the elastic on that side. It should be all the way around. Because I want you to see just how nice this looks. In terms of real. You see how nice and tight that is by doing the elastic down the whole side? So if you wanted to do something like this for your dinner table, so that you don't have to use like trivets and things like that to be a heat barrier, you can do that. Just use a thicker felt or use cotton batting. A double layer cotton batting works wonders that way. But this is a nice way to preserve your investment. For me, it's an investment in love of the sewing craft. So when this closes, see, that's the other thing. I did not do anything because this piece, just like this desk here, there's a short one on the other side that meets this. And so that would seal that shut, keep it nice and crisp. As far as this underside here where the hinging is, it actually didn't work out too bad. I'm going to put the machine down and see just how it lays. Some of it actually, which it actually did it. As I put this on, I pulled up on it to make it fit. A portion of it went into the space for the hinging. So it did me a favor. I'm going to go like this. I've already got the one on the other side. You're going to see it. It's finished. That. And put this little Kenmore to sleep for the night. Like that. I've got curtains to make people like crazy in this room. I've got them cut out. I just got to pin them. Next, I'm going to press them. Okay, and this little girl goes right down here. Boy, she's heavy. So this comes up, and it goes down. And you have to kind of smudge with it. Actually, you need to put the big one down first, and then the short one. You know, those things I've been working on. So do it that way. It's because I didn't do elastic all the way on the other side. That's why. So we're going to do it this way. I'm going to try to do them in tandem. There's actually the best way to do it. Put them down together. Boom. Look at that. Oh, this is wonderful. Isn't that awesome? Look at this nice cover on here. And next time you see me, I'll have this with the actually the tablecloth covering. Look. Hopefully. If not, it's coming. But yeah, I am going to go probably tomorrow. I will put the elastic all the way around the edge just because I like a nice crisp smooth look. And when I did this one, so I debated, I really did, I debated, but it looks a whole lot better. And the other thing you can do, I mean, if this is like one of those sewing machines that you only bring out like for special projects, if you do this part, why not make a skirt that goes underneath it? Or to go over the whole thing. So I have a vision in my head that those curtains in here are going to be vertical stripes. It's going to be vertical stripes and some eggshell color at the bottom. And I hope to have that finished in short order. And not too far in the future. Yeah. I need a haircut. I hope that you have enjoyed this little protective kind of cover. You can do the same thing for your sewing machine. For a sewing machine cover, ooh, I need to do that next. I've got a lot of sewing machine covers. I mean, I have a lot of cases, but there's a few that don't. That'd be a neat idea. Put some embroidery designs on them. You know, it'd be good. I had this idea. I'll show you when I make one. Actually, we'll make one together. Unless you don't, if you don't have an embroidery machine, you can hand embroider. But I'm going to, because I've been thinking about this for a while, about sewing machine covers. I hope you have learned a little bit of something. Giving you some ideas for some things. Maybe even making your own covers for your tables and things. And I have some little things hanging over this way that I will share with you at a later date. But one of them, I just looked at it and it needs some fringe. It's hanging on the light here. But I think I got the lighting right today. And it doesn't look too bad, at least not on this end. If you've liked anything, throw me a like, hit the like button, okay? If you have a question about like, well, do you know how to make this? I mean, it is holiday season. You can ask me, how do you make, a trivet cover or whatever. But I love to get new ideas and new things to try to do that I've done before, but maybe been many, many, many years ago. So toss them on my way. Say, hey, you don't have to give any ideas. You don't have to say anything other than, hi, I watched your video. Thanks. Or just say hello. Share my videos. I got a lot of different ones. Some of them get into repairing sewing machines. And if you haven't looked at those yet, you should look at them. Because I have more people, when they get a sewing machine, all of a sudden it stops working, they think it's the motor. It's never the motor, not usually. That's being a pretty abused sewing machine to be the motor. And then, hey, comment, like, and definitely subscribe. I got more to share. I really do. I got a bunch of things on the fire. A bunch of, what do they call it? A bunch of pokers in the fire. I think that's their expression. And I love creative people. And only creative people will be watching this kind of stuff, I think. So share with me your creativeness. I'd love to hear. I won't steal it. But I'd love to hear what people make and what they do. It's because everybody's an individual. You're all unique. So that's what I love. I love the machines. I'm addicted to the machines. I know I'm addicted to the machines, and it's okay. Do you know how many of them I got hidden in the a bunch. And when I was talking about table coverings and things like that, this is great to protect your table. If you have a beautiful wood table, put something on it underneath your tablecloth. Your tablecloth. Do you know how many people are so mortified because someone spilled wine at dinner on their table and they didn't have a protective cover on it? And I hate those plastic chintzy things, don't you? Now, what you can do with this is you can put plastic backing on it. I didn't tell you about that one, but you can do that too. I probably should do that one day because it's a little different when you're putting a sheet of vinyl or whatever on this. Actually, what you do is, this is the key. You get a dollar store vinyl tablecloth. What, $2-3, right? And you put it on the back of this. And it's simple because it's flocked. So it has that fuzzy backside, and the plastic side you're going to have underneath the top of this. So whatever hits that wet, it's going to repel it back up. Protect your tables. Protect your sewing desk. If you got teenagers in the house and they sip their glass of soda everywhere, oh gosh, you have to have something on your sewing table. Because I guarantee it, one day you're going to find a ring on it. And you're going to go, okay, who put their cup on my sewing desk? That's not a good day in the house. Hey guys, I love y'all. I would love to hear your comments. I would love to hear your suggestions. I'd just love to hear from you. So this is your Sew What Seamstress. Crazy about sewing machines. You got to see one of my finds. I didn't pay a dime for her, and she's alive because her motor hums. God bless. And find your passion, find your joy, but just keep on sewing.